How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Lieutenant Dan, here live from Orlando, Florida. Come to talk to you guys this morning about the Atlanta Falcons and everything that is going on with these guys, any news, notes, and just a discussion on some of the stuff that I've been thinking about as we have continued on. No face cam currently today just because my lighting setting is not correct. I would like to honestly do some with camera on and some with camera off. Those of you in the chat that are currently starting to kind of filter in and get in here, rise up, stay grounded to all of you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and share this out to all your Facebook groups, your Reddits, your Twitters, and whatnot. It would really, really help me and would support the Atlanta Falcons stuff that we do here, as well as my wife and I's content. We're putting things together. We just recently changed the thumbnail for the Desmond Ridder video of the bad throws. That content seemed kind of slow a little bit, so I appreciate you guys just going over there and hitting the like button there. It just makes the algorithm just a little bit better for us as far as Falcons content is concerned. The growth has been absolutely outstanding, and I cannot begin to thank you guys enough for everything that you guys are doing for us here with the content that we're currently providing. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys. Dave and Atlanta Dog 88, good to see you guys. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well in the chat there. We're gonna wait for just a second to see if anybody else wants to jump in before we kind of get rolling. But please make sure you share this out so that it continues to help support the content that we're going to do. And just I want to get a couple of news and notes out before I start kind of getting into the show itself. Number one, we're going to be live every Sunday for you guys on a simulcast. Make sure you guys go into the link in the description of this video and download the PSF app. It might come up as relevant for most, but it looks like they have made all the fixes to Android and iOS. We're going to be live there every Sunday to be able to do content for you guys. Call-ins, live call-ins. You guys can come and talk with us, hang with us, put emojis in the chat, come have a whole discussion with a couple hundred other Falcons fans that are in that particular chat room and support me there, as well as other fantastic Falcons content creators who are also working there at the same time. Guys like Scott Karaskic and company who are currently working with those guys. So please make sure you join us over there on Sundays. We really appreciate you guys. Rise up and stay grounded to everybody in the chat. And also, I just want to say that we're going to be changing our format for some of our shows here. So yes, we'll be live every Sunday, and we'll be live a couple of times randomly through the week. So make sure you have your notification bells hit at every point. Darius Mayfield with the $10 dono in the super chat. You son of a gun. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, I have no idea how much I appreciate that that $10 dono in the super chat, man. Rise up. 3-0 incoming. Hey, I believe that. I believe that. We're going to get into that. I'm actually going to come back to that, Darius, in just a moment, because I think that starts off kind of the conversation that we want to talk about this morning. But just to finish what we were currently talking about, we'll be live a couple times during the week. We're going to be posting shorts throughout the week, whatever I can get my hands on. Remember, the more we grow and the more this content continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and the more you guys support us, the least that I have to do on the actual going to work 9 to 5 job. And if you guys help us to a point to where we get big enough that we can be here and just do this job on our own, and this will be kind of like our mainstay here, then not only A, would I be blessed, and thank you so much for that, but B, I can start putting out more content more often. So please make sure that you guys support the channel in any way. It doesn't have to be monetarily, just hitting that like button, commenting down in the videos. It's all incredibly appreciated. We're going to be doing a Wednesday release for some of our videos, and you won't be able to see any of our shorts and stuff until later in the week. We will be doing past video content as well. There is a membership program available for anybody that wants to go in and join the monthly membership. You can do as little as $1 or up to $50 per month. There's all kinds of perks and things like that in there, and we're going to be including people's names at the end of the video from now on so that you guys can see all the supporters and all the people that are helping us out month to month. We really appreciate you guys. And if you guys join the Discord and become a monthly subscriber to the YouTube, you guys will actually get to see me make videos in person and talk to me through the Discord I think that's every Tuesday night or Wednesday night when they release that film, or excuse me, Monday or Tuesday night. And you guys can actually help us out there as well. Pantera and Christopher Sanders, thank you guys for coming through. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't already said hi in the chat, please make sure you do. I would love to say hi back. I promise I don't bite. And I appreciate all the talking points and all the discussion that we have on this show. It just really makes it worth every time I come on here. It's not just about the money. It's about literally just you guys coming in here and making this whole dream a reality. So thank you so much for coming through. Yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays we'll be trying to put out content. You guys saw the header has changed on the YouTube and on Twitch, on the Twitter. So we have changed some of those things for you guys. So we're going to be, every Sunday, we're going to be live covering the game. And every Wednesday, we're going to be dropping our big video. And then throughout the week, we'll be dropping smaller videos and smaller contents out. There's going to be a new series called the Atlanta Falcons game-by-game breakdowns. And those are going to end up being a compilation, kind of like a story narration of what the Falcons have done every single week. That way we can have some kind of like history on what we've done and how we've done it. So I want to thank everybody for kind of supporting that. And if you do, please make sure you go over there and hit the like button when that content is released. So let's get into this, because Darius Mayfield, let's just $10 dono. I appreciate you, man. You don't understand how much that means to me, but $10 dono in the super chat. Rise up, 3-0 incoming. And I actually was thinking about this from multiple perspectives. The first perspective that I thought about was, okay, so obviously the biggest talking point has been Desmond Ridder and how he can get the ball to his playmakers, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, just to name the big three, the big Cerberus that is the Falcons' current receiving core and running back core. Not leaving out Algier. He's doing like 4 yards a carry. Not leaving out Mac Hollins or Jonnu Smith or any of these other options. I'm just saying the big three that everybody continues to talk about because of A, their draft position, and B, how important they are, how integral they are to our scheme and what we do. And the more I thought about it, the more I said, okay, so you went into the Panthers game, you struggled in that Panthers game, you barely ran Desmond Ridder, you wanted him to stay in the pocket and deliver the ball, you heavily ran the ball throughout the entire game and throughout the entire process. So everybody in here, put your thinking caps on for just 1 second. How, after that game, after week 1 game, where you're trying things out and you're doing a couple of things and you're showing the playbook to Desmond Ridder and you're kind of opening up the project for him, how do you go into week 2 against the Packers? Well, I would say, and I know everybody in here get an opportunity, do members get to call into the show and voice their opinions? Just to answer that really quick before I continue, Pantera, thank you for coming through. I really appreciate you. Dan the Man, I appreciate you, man. Members get to see the film as it's released, all 22 stuff, and we'll get to go through it, and then I make cuts of those things in the Discord because I can't do it on YouTube, and I can't really do it on Twitch either. But the call-ins are absolutely free, regardless of membership status, if you download the PSF app, and you get to see us on Sundays or in our midweek show. Like today, I'm going to be doing a PSF midweek show right after the show. So if you do that, you can actually call in and voice your opinions on the PSF app for absolutely free, just joining the Falcons chat room, following LT_Dan. And you can actually join in, you can voice your opinions, you can be there live on the show, and you can put your comments down in the chat, as well as do a live video call-in. So we'd love to have you there. We're not going to do it here on YouTube because, unfortunately, with YouTube, you've got to put a lot of extra applications in. It runs my computer really slow. And I just want this to kind of be more of a live podcast setting with interactions through the chat. So on this particular setting, I want YouTube to be a place where I'm only uploading content, and I'm just providing that content to you guys. And if you want to support us directly or indirectly, you can do that through this. But on the top of that, the Twitch is available if you want to go in and kind of have more gaming and fun there. And then the PSF app I'm contracted with those guys. So if you guys go over there and support us through a fantastic application. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm contracted with them. It's a great app. It's pretty awesome. That is open for you guys. And you can have live discussions there and go live there. And just kind of back and forth. It's kind of like the Falcons message boards, but better. False start Falcon. What's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. Blizz, good to see you in the building. Atlanta Dog 88, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Be sure to have the TA prowling over Van Ness in your content. I think it's been good. It's been overlooked due to the W. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of content that I've yet to put out because I just don't have the time. And today is a day like I'm gonna probably end the stream by 11:30, almost 11:45, depending on how long the stream goes and explaining stuff and all those things. But we have a lot of content to do and a lot of things to do, and I need more free time to do them. And so there will be a week coming up in the next month or so that I'm going to have like 7 straight days, and I'm going to just like make so much content every single day. I don't know what to do with it, and then just premiere it. Tons of premieres coming out over the next couple of weeks. So I hope you guys just stick with us, stay with us, be patient, support what we're trying to do here, and kind of move forward. But please go over to the PSF app. Link is in the description of this video. Download the app on the Google Play Store or on the iOS store, whatever that is, Apple Store, and join us there. It's very fun, and it's got a lot of interactivity to it, and we're live there every Sunday. We'll be live here on Sundays as well, but this is going to be more of a bridge to both sides for people to be able to follow us here and join us here, as well as end up going over there and being able to voice their opinions and stuff, because we do that through the phone. So that's kind of explanation there. But back to what we were originally talking about, and back to Darius Mayfield and his $10 dono, and kind of what he kind of brought up as we're going 3-0 against the Detroit Lions. These two teams are very similar, only they're on different trajectories with their quarterback's path. Jared Goff is a inaccurate, unreliable quarterback who has spurts and moments where he can really open up a game, and they have a defense that they've built around young, aspiring, blossoming talent in Detroit, and they can hurt you because they play an old style of football. In this particular instance with the Falcons, they have a quarterback, and we overtalk this a lot, so I don't want to really get into a Desmond Ridder discussion today, but Ridder is developing and showing maturity and getting better week to week. So you go into this Panthers game, you kind of lay out kind of like a foundation of what you want to do as far as what kind of system and the 62 plays that you kind of want to utilize against a team. And then go into a game against the Packers where you, A, allow Ridder to now have green light means go run and read options and RPOs off of that. B, you rely much more heavily on what Bijan is able to do and then take him off the field to allow Algier to run that 3-yard run, 5-yard run, 7-yard run combo that he's able to do, and he catches the ball well and does things well. But then also baiting teams into believing that London and Pitts and Jonnu and all these other guys are the very important must-hit with volume type, and instead stare blankly at a defensive coordinator and just run the ball down their throats and they can't stop you. That is some of the challenge as a defensive coordinator that you have to come to, and I think that Detroit, and especially with this game being in Detroit, is going to be a great test for Atlanta. Can they place a similar system that they also implement and beat that system, even though most teams will see both of these guys go and play? They'll have all of the content from those games and then kind of get a better idea how to stop it. But can you then use play action? Can you then go out and roll out? Because this is, Ridder is kind of like that 08-09 Ryan with legs. And it's something that we haven't really been able to, this is not Michael Vick where it's run first then pass. with a laser arm and all the talent in the world. And we're not going to talk about the off-field stuff, but we're just going to say all the talent in the world and all the ability in the world, and just not utilized properly because that particular system does not take care of a Michael Vick. You're relying specifically on talent and athleticism than you are with the Matt Ryan system, which is we're very system-oriented, and the athletes around Ryan make things happen. They've kind of built that same bubble, but with Desmond Ridder, he is an athlete. He can run, and you didn't see it in the Panthers game. You laid a foundation against the Panthers, and then went on to the next game and said, we're going to do it again. But this time, we're going to add a next layer to it, which is Desmond Ridder knows how to run. He can gain a few yards after the play has started, and he can make the throws, but not having the trust with your offensive line, and we saw it in both games. I showed examples not only in the bad video, but also in the video with the Carolina Panthers with the Desmond Ridder video. And again, I don't want to burn that content out, so I don't want you guys to be burned out of that. But for everybody that's currently joining and everybody kind of getting in here, I don't want to burn Desmond Ridder content out every single week because you guys will get bored and I will get bored. That's the truth, right? I mean, say it in the chat. If you guys, if you guys are bored of the Desmond Ridder content, please, by all means, tell me that you're bored in the live stream here. But I want to go a different direction with that content, and that's what started making me kind of think, especially with Darius Mayfield kind of coming up with this, we're going 3-0. You layered the Panthers game and then put the Packers game on top of that and said, yeah, so for all the teams out there, yes, Desmond Ridder can actually take that 5 to 10 yard scramble and really infuriate you. And we will run RPO, and we will run the read option stuff with Ridder because we know he has enough wheels to get there. Goff doesn't have those wheels. So the difference between your Lions offensive content, which is Jared Goff is not a runner, he can scramble, but he's not known for that. He's going to throw the ball a lot, and they're going to rely heavily on their run game to get things going, but they're going to pass the ball like heckin'. The Falcons have created a similar offense, although I wouldn't say they copied anyone specifically. They haven't copied Shanahan. They haven't really copied what's going on there with Vrabel in Detroit. They haven't really done anything specific to any particular team. There's no team that they're specifically copying and going, yeah, that content right there, that's the offensive scheme and systematic stuff that we want to do. They go, oh, the Falcons right now with Desmond Ridder has athleticism. He just needs to learn how to put touches on throws and get it there. And I think through 6 games now, we've had 2 games this year. We're going into our 3rd game, and 4 games that Ridder has played last year, which I think everyone in here specifically agrees. We needed to see more Desmond Ridder last year to be able to get more confidence, not only as fans, but also put Desmond Ridder in a better situation. I think even his detractors would say that if Desmond Ridder had more time last season, that he would have been a more effective quarterback overall. Agree or disagree in the chat. I definitely would like to hear that opinion. But Desmond Ridder only got 4 games and improved through those 4 games. You get the media coming out and saying, Desmond Ridder's not really that guy because he hasn't really shown anything, and that limited sample size did more harm and hindered him more than anything at all. Because even if you give him 4 games go into the offseason, you're really basing this off of just 4 games worth of grouping, right? Doesn't matter which media is talking about it, whether it's Falcons media or national media or regional media, or even if you're just talking about another team's media commenting on Desmond Ridder, you're looking at Desmond Ridder and going, there's just not really a lot to go about. Despite what PFF says, or any of these other specific 3-4 letter networks come out and have a discussion about what Desmond Ridder can be. People are saying Desmond Ridder, it's all on Ridder's shoulders how far the Falcons offense can go. I don't disagree with that statement. But when I look at guys like Drake London, I go, well, you can't drop the ball when it hits you right in the hands. So you go into week 1 and Desmond has that chemistry with a Drake London. And Drake London pretty much puts up a 0. Pretty much just completely puts up a 0. And they don't really get anything to Pitts. But they heavily run the ball, and they're able to make enough, and then defensively make the stops that they need to win. Bend, don't break, right? You go into game 2 and you sprinkle more offensive stuff with penalties and miscues and an interception that Desmond Ridder throws. And it was not a good throw by any sense. I mean, again, go watch the video that I just put out not too long ago, and you'll see it. You'll say it to yourself. It's just, this is unacceptable stuff. Again, that's not showing all the good that Desmond Ridder was able to accomplish in that game, which there's a lot. But when you look at Drake London, you go, Drake, you got to not be lazy. You've got to run your routes with more purpose. Kyle Pitts, you're running your routes lackluster, taking plays off. And I'll call you out for that and say that that's not good enough. That's why we have to lean on Bijan and Algier and Mac Hollins to get these things done, because I see it in Drake London, I see it in Kyle Pitts, that they are taking plays off and not going full sprint, not going full speed, not getting things done. And so it's hard to incorporate people into the game when your offensive line, A, can't hold up in pass blocking worth anything. And then go, Drake London, what do I think of you through 6 games with Desmond Ridder? You looked really good last year, and it felt like this was going to be one of those Matt Ryan to Julio Jones connections. It's just so well conceived and put together. The chemistry between those guys is so good. Insert Pitts into the season with Desmond Ridder, and now it just kind of feels like the room is crowded. Bijan's going to get touches, but it makes Pitts turn into a liability more than something that can help you succeed. Not that Pitts is bad, and I'm not saying that Pitts needs to go or they need to change what they do with Kyle Pitts, but in this next game, you obviously want to see more play action rollout for Desmond Ridder where he goes off to his right and makes these throws. I actually made a comment about it in my Panthers video with Desmond Ridder, is that when they put Brian Burns on an island is when Desmond Ridder was doing his best. When you put a defensive end or a linebacker on an island and they have to make a decision about coming to get Desmond Ridder or backing off into coverage so that they don't allow a guy like a Kyle Pitts or a Darren Waller, but a Jonnu Smith or those types of people. If you see that type of scenario happening, then you need to go into the next game, especially this game against Detroit, who has fantastic defensive players, and put those guys on islands, because that's how you end up like making situations where defenses are put into a bind, right? Rock and a hard place. Are you going to come get me, or are you going to leave a guy like Kyle Pitts open for a 5-yard catch that turns into a 25-yard catch? Yak and everything. And so when I look at guys like Drake London, I go, that connectivity from an offensive line standpoint, because everything has to come out so quickly, Drake London isn't afforded time to be able to put himself in a situation where he can make a catch until the fourth quarter, when DBs and linebackers are a little more tired and you're allowed more time in the pocket to be able to get the ball there. That's the truth. That's not a narrative. That's the same thing in a lot of cases with Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts takes a play off, looks late. Desmond has to look somewhere else. Ball doesn't go very well because he's having to make multiple reads, and there's nothing wrong with Ridder making multiple reads, but the offensive line doesn't have enough time, doesn't have enough strength, doesn't have enough pass blocking to afford you time to be able to look at those reads. That's the issue. It's not a Ridder issue. It's you're just not afforded that time until late in the game when defensive lines are a little tired because you've been beating them up with a run over and over and over and over. That's the truth. That's the facts of the matter. So when you go play a team against Detroit, I can 100%. I can see the Falcons beating Detroit in Detroit. That's not the issue. The issue is you're playing very similar ball, and they're going to come down and say, well, what stops us is what we're going to use against Atlanta because we practice against a similar offense. So they really need to start using these play action passes, especially what I saw in the Carolina game, but even more what I saw in the Green Bay game is that Pitts is open in the flat, and we need to get Pitts open in that play action flat pass. There's opportunities and moments where Kyle Pitts is wide open, and he needs to be given that just a dink, just a dunk, and allow him to make a play. You're not always going to get him open down the seam, which we've seen not only in the Packers game, which almost caused an interception and a high throw, but also in the Panthers game where he was wide open, but the offensive line had already broken down and Ritter's getting sacked. So to get the ball to Pitts in the first game, we were taking sacks. In the second game, Pitts is not going 100%. We're not really drawing up plays to get him open. We're drawing up the normal stuff that we showed last year, and those types of plays aren't opening up until very late in the game when either we're behind or we've got such an insurmountable lead that we begin to just run the ball with Algier and Bijan. And there's nothing wrong with that either, except for it just makes the fans upset. Not from a fantasy football standpoint, but we've got all these talented players. Why aren't we getting the ball into their hands? You get what I'm saying. So it's kind of like catch-22, right? Like everybody in the chat is having kind of a similar discussion, but like you can't leave Aiden Hutchinson one-on-one with Jake Matthews or with Caleb McGarry. And they're going to put him on Caleb McGarry because it's weak. It's weak there. So you play action out of that and start dumping the ball off to Bijan, Algier, Pitts, Jonnu off your right-hand side. That's probably where you end up going there instead of trying to throw multiple blockers at Hutchinson, because that's just going to end up making an interception close to the line or a tipped ball or something's going to happen. And again, there's a lot that Desmond Ridder has to continue to learn and thrive on, right? We all know that interception against the Packers was bad. Go look at the film. I already have it out. Go check out the video. But those types of passes cannot be where a clean pocket is actually achieved and you don't give it enough air and it doesn't go over that defender and into the hands of a Kyle Pitts or a Jonnu Smith, right? You can't run red zone plays where you do multiple level crossers across the field and allow defenders up and through the middle making Desmond Ridder have to roll out of that pocket and not be able to find anybody. Kyle Pitts is wide open in the end zone, but you allowed multiple defenders to get through the line. So now what? Ritter's got to run? He's got to dump it off somewhere where there isn't an opening? And I just look at that stuff like that and go, there's a lot that they're going to work on this week that they know Detroit is going to be working on as well because they have a similar offense. And this is going to be a gritty game. You thought that the Panthers game was gritty. You thought you had a heart medication problem with the Packers. Prepare yourself for the Lions because either we're going to get absolutely blown the heck out. I'm just telling you the worst and best case scenarios here. We're either going to get stomped on and we're not going to be able to get anything done because they just have a very, very good defense. Or defensively and offensively, we're going to do enough to prove that teams like Detroit, we can go toe-to-toe with them, take body blows, take shots to the jaw, and just deliver more punches and win by decision. We're not blowing Detroit out. It would be highly surprising if we did. Let me go into the chat and say hi to everybody. I haven't gotten a moment to say hi to everybody, so please, by all means, 23 people right now, please hit that like button. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the subscribe button. We'd love to see you guys come through. I'd love to be able to announce your name on the screen if you haven't already. But those types of things need to be set up properly against the Detroit defense. And I don't sleep on them because they've played good games. They know how to get to the quarterback. And I'm not just scared of Aiden Hutchinson and what he can do. They have a good defense. It is built well. And I commend that, and I don't sleep on that because you got to respect your opponents. If you disrespect them, they will end up biting you in the ass. Anyway, let's get into it. Dave and Atlanta Dog 88, thank you so much. Darius Mayfield, I just want to one more time, thank you so much for the $10 dono in the super chat. You are a champ, and you are an absolute grounder. Thank you so much. My wife and I really appreciate you and cannot begin to thank you enough for that $10 dono in the super chat. Thank you so much. Christopher Sanders, good to see you, my man. Pantera in the building. Blizz, false starts, Falcons. Good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. Hosea46 Fix, thank you so much for joining the chat, man. I really appreciate you. D-Rob in the building. Cash, ATS, thank you so much. 8TS, thank you so much for joining the chat. I really appreciate you. Rise up, staying grounded. I saw somewhere in this chat here that somebody said, Dan, you were, I believe, the first YouTuber doing Falcons content. Been here for 10 plus years, I believe. Thank you so much for being here, man. You don't understand how much that means to me and how much that means to just getting back into the swing of things like this and just doing this content again. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Let's move down because there was quite a discussion that was going on in the chat there. D-Rob, thank you for coming through, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. If you haven't already said hi in the chat and you'd like to, and you'd like me to do a little shout out for you, please, by all means, go into the chat and say hi. I'd love to say hi back. Thank you so much. Rise up, stay grounded to all you guys. That one game for Drake London is coming. That game for Kyle Pitts is coming. And I feel like you get Desmond Ridder solidified into this game and you play him well in the system in the first game. And you just easy, spoon-fed, narrative, systematic, just running the scripted calls, right? But then turning around and going into the Packers game and go, let's build on that by allowing him to run. Let's build on this by getting the ball out a little bit more. Let's build on this by leaning on Bijan a little bit more and having Algier rest, because Algier had an amazing game against the Panthers and had a so-so game against the Packers. So-so meaning that he just wasn't the main attraction, the star, right? But then, Scotty Miller hasn't had that breakout game, and I see some people in the chat currently talking about him right now. I recognize what you guys are talking about. London hasn't had that breakout game yet. Pitts hasn't had that breakout game yet. Jonnu Smith hasn't had that game where we're like, hey, there's Jonnu. There's that guy. And this offensive line has not been the most clean. So there's a lot to still work on, and we're only 3 games into the season. But defensively, we're just not creating that pressure. And this is something that I was a little worried about when we started seeing the team begin to kind of be created, right? Thank you guys for all of the likes, the share content out to the Twitter and the Instagrams and the Facebook groups and everything. Thank you guys for sharing that out. I appreciate you. Love you all. Appreciate everything. Bless up. Hope God is blessing you guys today and making things even better in your lives. Thank you so much. But on top of all of those things, the Falcons are out here right now defensively just not getting the pressure that we need. I like Calais Campbell. I enjoy what Amyamata is doing. I understand that we can stop the run here and there, and we've clamped down when we've needed to clamp down. I like Jesse Bates being out. In fact, actually, no, I don't like. I love Jesse Bates being out there. Thumbs up in the chat if you guys like what Jesse Bates is doing right now, man. Because they brought him into the box and it's worked a little bit. They left him out there as the single high and it made it even better. He's been the thumper that we've needed. I know everybody immediately goes and talks about Eric Weems, or they end up talking about Thomas Deku or Willie Moe. I hear people talk about those guys. Comparisons and all these things. But Jesse Bates is on a different level, man. He's on a completely different level. They've had 1 or 2 sacks in the Panthers game, and they've had a sack from Caden Ellis in the Packers game. And that's fine, but it's not. And there's no... And now I understand the outcry. I mean, you had to build the interior of this defense, and you had to put linebackers out there, and you had to get your safeties and corners better. And Okudah will be back, I believe, for this game. So that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Please make sure you guys go into the live chat down below, and please, join us in this interactive live stream here, this live podcast episode. But you're going to get pieces back for this week. But the pressure has just not been there. You need an impact defensive end. Ebiketie is getting leaned on a little bit more, and you're seeing some of his influence, and the pass rush is slowly but surely kind of morphing and changing and getting better. But I'm more concerned with this just very slow start by everybody to create the pressure that you want, that makes interceptions happen, that creates issues down the field and trying to hit the big targets, creating interceptions, creating fumbles, and things like that. This Falcons team seems to be very optimistic and opportunistic in those regards, in those respects, but this bend-don't-break defense ends up hurting you more than it helps you when it comes to a pass rush standpoint. And I know a lot of people kind of get really uppity and wild about that, but this group right now needs those moments where you get a sack and you take a guy down and you just punish. And they need more of that right now. They really, really need more of that, and they just can't find it. Whether it's the guys that have already been here or it's guys like Ebiketie and Malone and things like that, the pressure just hasn't been there. Hosea 46 Vic. Man, thank you for the $20 dono and the super chat, bro. Like, my goodness, bro. Mrs. Lieutenant Dan is now creating all of our thumbnails, or at least is the one that's now holding on the thumbnails now. We got a cool-ass thumbnail coming out. She just created the banner on the YouTube with we're live every Sunday and new videos on Wednesdays. She made that. But she also just made the Desmond Ridder bad throws thumbnail that we just put out. She's now making another one, and oh man, can I just for 1 second, just for one second. I don't think she sent it to me. Where is it at? No, she doesn't have it. She didn't send it to me. Man, if she had sent that to me, that would have been the coolest thing in the whole world. Oh, no. It's here. Hold. I want to show you guys this. Just stick with me for just 1 second. I want to show you guys this. This is like the coolest thing ever. Where do I want this? I want this in the drive. Add to drive. Upload. Photos and videos. Select photos. This one. I'm going to give everybody a preview of the next video. And video thumbnail. And I want you guys to just tell me what you think of this. It's not done. It's not complete. But I want you guys to tell me what you think of this thumbnail. Yes or no? You just got to yes or no me. I've got to do all this verification and everything. Goodness. I just want to show everybody the thumbnail. That's all I want to do. She's absolutely talented. I love what my wife can do. She's absolutely talented. Oh yeah, baby. All right. Let's open this up. Window capture. Let me pull this over. Let me condense it down. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that one? She's out here making some fire stuff, bro. She's making some absolute fire. Lieutenant Dan, the best in the game. Keep it coming, bro. I appreciate it, Hosea, man. Appreciate it. But she's making. It would make her absolute day. Can I get everybody to shout out Mrs. Lieutenant Dan in the chat right now? It would make her absolute day if she heard from you guys that this is an absolute fire thumbnail. Because I see some people in the chat right now just being like, "Hey, yo!" But please, if you guys don't mind, just shouting her out in the chat, that would be absolutely amazing. Because she's decided, I'm taking your thumbnail game to the next level, and she's using all these programs and things. And this thumbnail right here is going to be the thumbnail for the Arthur Smith episode 1, The System. I'm going to call it The System. And it's going to have some Panthers plays, it's going to have some Packers plays, and then we'll get 2 more games in, the Detroit and the Jags game, and we'll just call it The System Part 2. But this right here, man, that's G money. That's G money right there. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Paul Sanford with the $5 dono in the super chat. Man, you guys are just blessing me today. Thank you. Goodness grief. Thank you guys so much. It's just a blessing to see this. Jack Savage in the building. Good to see you. Bangley in the building. MJ Edwards in the building. You guys are coming in late. What's up? Eugene Jones. What's up, brother? Rise up. Stay grounded. Oh my goodness. First, I want to thank you for consistently creating content and breaking down film. Most people don't understand the amount of effort it takes every single day. Paul, thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul. All of you guys in the chat right now, all you guys and gals in the chat that are blessing us today, thank you so much. The blessings are absolutely just, every time this happens, it helps me every single time to go, this was the right choice, and I can get out of this day job and start doing this amazing stuff. There she is. There she is in the chat right now. There she is in the chat right now. Crystal, child of God, thank you so much for coming through. Mrs. Lieutenant Dan in the building. Please go and just shower her with some hearts or something like that, man, because she's putting out some fantastic stuff. But let's get back into this real quick. The Falcons have an opportunity to absolutely, totally, and truly beat Detroit. But this will be the toughest challenge. This will be the toughest challenge. Can they operate against a similar team in Detroit? Not in Atlanta, not at home. Can Desmond Ridder and company go out there and get the next win? And I think they can. In fact, I'm more sure of myself that the Falcons can pull out this game against Detroit. But this one gives me a lot of butterflies in the stomach. I don't know about y'all, but this game gives me butterflies in my stomach. Paul Sanford with another dono in the super chat, $5. Paul, thank you so much. Second, I've seen our guys taking plays off, and it really makes me miss having Julio Jones around. He was a great mentor, and we never saw that when he was here. That is 100% true. That's 100% true. It's always 90-0. I'm the type of person that would believe that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones should be brought into the Atlanta Falcons organization and become leadership or coach level guys. And that, more than anything, seems to be like a good choice, a correct choice, the right choice, because Desmond Ridder needs a real mentor. The wide receiving group needs a real guy to come out and be a mentor. They need those guys to be at Flowery Branch every week. We're coming in and we're keeping accountability on this team. I know Arthur Smith is keeping them accountable. He's a rough and tough coach, and we've won 2 games for a reason. Anybody in here knows that that's not a lie. That's the truth. No shiny nickels, no narratives, no nothing. This team, nitty-gritty, plays football, goes out there and beats people's asses. That's the truth. But to have Matt Ryan there every day, to have Julio Jones there every day, to have this team playing at a high level, week in, week out, every practice, going out into the games, playing at a high level. That's what we need. And to have that accountability, to have guys that are like, we weren't able to win that Super Bowl, but we can come out and tell you guys you need the experience to be told to you so that just in case you do make a run this year, you do end up winning 10, 11 games, which is totally feasible, totally believable, totally achievable. That if they do end up going out and doing those things, that they need some experience and some accountability held on their shoulders. They can't just learn that and then get thumped, and then the team rearranges itself in the aftermath of it. I would like again to say to everybody in this chat that we do remember that the Falcons are going to have a lot of money next year. Yes, there's contracts that are going to need to be kind of put together. Will we keep Okudah? How much are we going to pay AJ? What can we do about this offensive line? What pieces are going to need to be fixed? Right tackle, left tackle, center. All of those are open. Could it be we go look, you for yourselves, go look at Grady Jarrett and Jake Matthews' contract. I won't say any more. Just go to Spoke Rack or Over the Cap and go look at the dead money / money you would receive. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to do anything else to push that narrative. I just want you to go look at it with your own eyes. Go look at the contracts. And tell me that this is not strategically done. That if things work out, that things get better, that you don't have Trey Flowers starting, LOL. But if things progressively get better and then the Falcons make some very surprising, very dangerous moves this offseason to more or less achieve a certain goal, achieve a certain stance on how the team is put together, then I would not be surprised, nor should anybody else in here be surprised. But corner, linebacker, edge rusher, offensive line, those are probably the big four right now. Just after two games. And the Falcons are going to have a lot of cap space, and the Falcons are going to have quite a few draft picks. So the future looks bright. I don't need to talk to you guys about the future. I need to talk to you guys about the now. And the now currently is we don't have the pass rush to achieve the sacks to change momentum. But maybe that's where you get it in this Detroit game. Because Jared Goff is just the style of quarterback that you need in order to create that momentum. That offensive line is abusable if you want to go out there and do that to them. If you want to put the players out there to be able to do that, you can influence that. This is that type of offense. You can beat them up. But defensively, we just don't seem to have that guy yet. That's something that we will have to achieve either by finding that guy and training that guy this year or going into next year and getting a very high draft defensive end or a talent in free agency. Very, 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 very possible. That's not a narrative. That's not a lie. That's not trying to change anybody's opinion in here. That's not trying to change anybody's mind. That's a fact. We have a lot of money next year. We're going to utilize that money to a particular way, and then we're going to end up going into for the draft and having another successful draft, which I believe we've had 3 or 4 successful drafts under this regime up to this point. We've done a good job. I mean, you can't fault them for the guys that they picked. Whether it's the first-round guys, the second-round guys, the third-round guys, there's been some misses, there's been some hits, but overall, the overarching team has gotten better. Just better, period. Now, you go into this Detroit game, and you understand there's volume that has to be taken care of. Arthur Smith is not a volume coach. He's about whatever is working. So if Bijan Robinson is working, Bijan Robinson's getting the ball, and then when he's tired, Algier takes up that, and he's a different running back, but still ends up getting 4 yards a carry. That means to break it down for the simpletons in the chat, that means that you're gaining 8 yards every 2 plays. Every 2 plays, it's 8 yards. Tyler Algier is providing that to you right now. That's incredible. You should be very, very, very happy about that because you have a two-headed monster in the backfield. Add Cordero Patterson, who is also a dynamic runner in his own right and will get touches probably in this coming game. Probably slowly added back in, as Arthur Smith does with every player he has. But running and passing offensively, this team doesn't care about volume and never will, and is going to continue just whatever's working right now, we're just going to play off of that. If the run game is working and certain guys are just kind of busting it open, we're going to keep feeding those guys because it's working, but then we're going to put a wrinkle here or there that we're going to see if somebody else is having a good day. Otherwise, we're just going to keep doing what we need to do. We don't care about Desmond Ridder having 300 yards in the game and 3 touchdowns. What we care about is Desmond Ridder being able to have a clean sheet and going out there and playing positive football. If that's not what you want, then you're looking too deep into it, or you have a particular narrative or a particular agenda that you want to see accomplished and or come to fruition. Yes or no in the chat. Because the rest of this group, offensively, from a line standpoint, this offensive line needs one more impact guy. I don't know if Dahlman's 100% the guy, but he's done well. I don't think McGarry is going to be playing for this team much longer, even though we gave him a contract. Brian Dent, thank you so much for the sub, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you're doing well today. Blessings up to you and your family. I hope that God is just blessing you and changing you and helping you morph your life and continue to do great things, not only in your life, but in the life of others around you. And thank you for coming through and subbing to the channel, man. You're awesome. Thank you. Please, by all means, say hi in the chat. I'd love to see you. But this type of football that you're running right now is not a by volume standard. It's just whatever is working, running back by committee, wide receiver by a committee, whatever is opening up. And until you end up showcasing a consistent strategy, you're just going to keep chipping away, kind of like you're building a table or a chair, whittling wood or whatever it may be, whatever you want to do. I've been a cook for 13 and a half years, so I'll put it in food terms for those of you that know or those of you that don't know. You're in a sweaty kitchen, order comes through, and you've got a bunch of different layers of things that you have to do in order to be able to make the burger. The patty goes onto the grill. You begin to kind of cook that in a certain way. There's steps to do that. And while you're doing that, you start the fries, and then you got this, and now this time it takes this much time to do this and this and this. You order all the things. The bun has to come out. Now you're doing this, and then you flip the patty over, add the cheese, put the steam on the cheese, put the bowl over the top of it. Now you're putting, pickle, lettuce, tomato, onion, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Take the patty off because you don't want it to be cooked too long. Boom, goes onto the thing. All right, the fries are done. Pull those out. Give them a dusting of salt. Throw those on the thing. They're nice and crispy and hot. And then you go, ding, serve. And you want your waitress or waiter to be able to pick that up as soon as possible. Plop that thing in front, and to be the best tasting thing that you ever had. You got to do that same exact process with this team, with this offense. Panthers game started out slow. We just went with what we knew was going to work. Added in wrinkles with Desmond Ridder. He didn't, have the cleanest game of all time. Same thing with the Packers game. Okay, we did that first game. Now we're going to go in here. We're going to put a couple more layers. We're going to teach you how to put the bacon on and the cheese on and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And morph it and grow it and change it and continue to get it to a point where we're running complex systems, but it's simplistic for us because we know that in anybody else's scheme, if they just condensed it down to just this is how we run the play, cool. But we run a lot of motion, a lot of moving parts, and we still end up doing simple concepts by making them look overcomplicated. I think you could also boil down this bend, don't break defense to that, is that it's very simplistic. And if we had a better pass rush, it would be terrifying. But Calais Campbell can't do this all on his own. Ebiketie hasn't gotten to this point where he's throwing guys off the field. Malone hasn't really proven that he's that guy yet. Caden Ellis is sparking with his A-gap blitzes and B-gap blitzes where they stunt him and get him into the backfield. We can do that for a time, but it won't work forever. And eventually, the bend don't break will frustrate the defensive line and make them take plays off, and will also frustrate the corners because it's putting a lot of wear and stress on them. So, once we get to this point against Detroit, and we get the breakdowns, we get the film, and we either get the dub or we shoot ourselves in the foot because we've almost shot ourselves in the foot for 2 games. Again, all it takes is one drive and the Panthers win. All it took was one drive for Jordan Love and company. They kick a field goal, they win. We left that door open. The door was open. But if you end up morphing and changing this next week and you learn from your mistakes, you and everybody in the chat that's currently in here, you go into this game against Detroit and you beat the brakes off of them, and you put them in the dirt. But the chances are there. McGarry is still your right tackle, and Aiden Hutchinson is most likely going to be on McGarry. That's the fear. Yes, you can double them, you can put other guys, but then you make a lot of one-on-ones where Jake Matthews isn't playing up to par. Bergeron got bullied this last game against the Packers. Dahlman is very new to being the guy. Lindstrom can't babysit McGarry all game. McGarry's short arms and weak anticipation has unfortunately become the undoing of him, and Brian Burns did it to him. The Packers did it to him on multiple occasions, and my goodness, Aiden Hutchinson will most likely do it to him as well. So you don't want that, and you can chip it, and you can block it, but for 2 games you've shown you haven't been able to create the plays and execute the plays in order for that fear to be an afterthought. So going into this game, I know we can win it, and we will win it. In my opinion, we will get the dub. That dub is reachable, tangible, and in the bag as long as you just go out there and perform the regular Falcons offense that you've been performing for 2 games. And obviously, insert new wrinkles and new ideas into it because you have to play every team different. Benito Jones, Kaminsky has had a complete resurgence there in Detroit. And to look at them and just say, whatever, they're not worth anything, is opening up a door for punishment. So just go out there and play your game and don't underestimate this grouping because Detroit is good. Detroit is good. Maybe not as good as Atlanta. Maybe not as good as Atlanta. Because in my opinion, and maybe this is a homerish opinion, but I believe that Atlanta can do great things. And they have all the momentum to do so because they've got 2 wins, and those 2 wins were progression from week to week. That's not a narrative. That's the truth. So, long story short, and all those things being said, thank you guys for coming through and hitting us up with the donos. Thank you guys for joining the membership program. Thank you guys for subscribing and following and sharing this content out with all your friends and family and all of the peeps on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it at this point. And just thank you for the support. Thank you for kind of getting this, just to a point where we're just, hey man, this is what I've wanted to do, and this is what I want to do with you guys. Thank you. Make sure you guys join the PSF app. Link is in the description of this video. Rise up and stay grounded to all of the peeps in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you guys. It has been an absolute pleasure to come here and talk to you guys today. I'm going to be working on some content until about 2:15, 2:25. And hopefully I can get another short out for you guys just to kind of talk about some things that I'm seeing. Make sure you guys check out all the videos that we put out recently. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell to be notified of all the new content that we're going to be putting out this week. And I hope to see you guys on Sunday as well here on YouTube. We have an upcoming stream on here as well as on the PSF app where you can call in live on the PSF app and talk to us there, or just hear the narration of the game here on YouTube. And join us for those particular moments on Sunday if you want to hear the narration of the game there, as well as support this channel going forward. And then we'll have some fantastic new content coming out on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, as well as a couple more shorts and things this week. So rise up and stay grounded to everybody here in the chat. I appreciate all of you. And I just want to say a prayer to every single one of you guys before you get out of here and you leave and head off to your own stuff. So, Lord Jesus, thank you so much for everything that you've done for this channel, for my wife and I, and for all the people that are currently in this chat. Thank you for blessing their lives and continuing making their jobs better, making their lives better, even if it's not exactly what they want or exactly what they're looking for. Even if it's not the prayer that they're looking for to be answered, thank you for opening doors and answering prayers for them that are opening their hearts and minds and ears, allowing them to see things better, allowing them to feel things in a spiritual way, allowing them to be able to open up love in their heart and forgive others, not only friends and coworkers, but also family members and people that are close to them. Thank you for repairing those bridges and those relationships. Lord, just let every single person that's currently in this chat right now go out and do great things in your name today. Even if it's not just preaching on the street or going to church or reading the word, Lord, just bless them and allow them to do things that they weren't able to accomplish because they believe in you. Thank you for all the gifts that we have received and all the trials and tribulations, Lord, because we thank you for all the hard times. We thank you for the hardships. We thank you for the hard lessons learned. We thank you for allowing us to bite our tongue and just receive things and grow from those. So, Lord, I pray to you right now that you continue to invest in these people. Invest in the grounders, invest in all the people that are helping this channel out right now and all the Falcons content creators that are out there that are spreading positivity. Please, Lord, just continue to just help those people not only just consume that content and promote it, but also allow them to make the correct decisions on what's right and what's wrong, not only from this game that we love and enjoy, but from all of the possible angles of life that we have to mature in, because we all have to mature. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Peace, hair grease, rise up, stay grounded.